This week, despite all of the Armory news and hype surrounding it, it was shaping up to be one of the most dead weeks in terms of actual market activity, especially in terms of China. As we looked at earlier, 7 days of red, a slight pullback over the weekend, and another 3 days of red right after. No pumps were seemingly happening, no manipulation was seeming to take place, right? We had finally just gotten back CS Float's database to take a look and track inventories, but there was no inventories to track. Instead, we saw prices just kind of quietly fall down. But as news comes out and as people share their experiences in the market, it seems that that may not be what happened. And before we even have the chance to talk about it, China is most certainly back. So let's dive into what's going on.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to DE News China. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. If you have any interesting inventories yourself that you found or interesting items you would like to take a look at with other people to analyze, we will be live on Twitch tonight around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll have it scheduled. Lots of macro speculation going on in the market right now. Armory rotation is coming. Cash is 100% coming. They even liked one of my tweets. And if it wasn't for this morning of market activity, there probably wouldn't be a DE News China to even make. But alas, we finally got some Chinese attention brought back into the market. So as we just discussed, 7 straight days of losses. We had a 2-day brief recovery, not even by way of China, but rather just, market dynamics. People having the 7-day trade hold released on those skins. That went down for 7 days, buying back in once their money was put back into their account. After that brief recovery, all of those gains were subsequently erased in about 72 hours, bringing us down to lows we haven't seen since late 2024. Of course, discluding the Great Depression, as that was very short-lived. Around 5 hours we hit that market cap. And it sucks because we could see listing patterns again. We could see accumulation happening on the CS Float database, but there's nothing to track. There's no people buying anything right now. The things that people have in their inventories are set. They're not buying more. In fact, seemingly, at least on the surface, people are just listing the items that they have in their inventory from these Chinese accounts. So the market was very quiet, to say the least. One good way to gauge the sentiment of the Chinese market is to look at the top movers on Steam DT. If there's knives on there, or if there's stat track weapons in the top movers, you could pretty much close the site. There's nothing going on that specific day. So with prices rapidly falling, it seems like it would be a good buying opportunity for China, right? But according to some recent news on Twitter, they might have been the ones manipulating the price to go downwards in the first place. So here goes. A Twitter CS2 trader by the name of Olaf put this on his Twitter last night, I believe, in which he notices that all of the new listings that are driving prices down and driving the market index and market cap down, which play a huge role on market sentiment in general. People look at that number and it determines how confident they are in their skins and in the market. These listings, once bought, which he tested on his accounts with, I believe, over 50 different items, 90% of them were not delivered. They were simply canceled by way of the accounts being run by bots and then putting the knife right into a storage unit as soon as someone actually purchases it on the site. So you take your butterfly knife, you list it for $1,000. As soon as someone buys it, you move it into your storage unit. So the listing gets canceled, no one sees it, you don't get penalized. But other sellers and other bots see that $1,000 listing price and undercut it to $995. And they do the same thing over and over and over. So when finally someone real comes in like you and you want to sell your knife, you see all these listings and you're like, well, shit, I got to undercut it. Cool. Now it's $950, for example. So while no actual physical knives are sold, listing prices go down, thus market cap and market index goes down, and it goes down for 10 straight days essentially, and people get nervous. If his theory's true, China, while effectively selling zero skins, lowered the sentiment and lowered the price of items pretty much across the board. And all it takes is holding the item and listing it. It doesn't even require a sale. And considering a lot of traders in China don't actually play the game, they're not going to see this nuance. They're going to see the graph and they're going to respond how they would when they see a downtrending graph in any other market. FOMO, and they don't want to be the last ones out, so naturally they do that. But if they could pump the skins, they can also dump them. So it's definitely a viable theory. And as far as motives go, timing makes sense. Remember, I talked about March 10th. We should have gotten that Armory discontinuation on March 10th because that was their historical pattern, right? It wasn't me just taking a fucking guess. It was me using their past data. So I'm not really mad that it was wrong. That was the best possible guess anyone could have made. So when that didn't happen, sentiment already was kind of dicey. Not even including China, here. anecdotally here in Europe. When we still continue to get no news week after week, and then after April 1st, and we didn't get any news, sentiment really started to drop extremely quickly. So if you were going to manufacture a dump like this, you're going to do it now. If the market is doing fantastically and you start dumping, it's not going to really make sense to people. People are going to buy back in really, really quickly. It's not going to be that easy or successful of a actual plan. But when you amplify the negative sentiment being exhibited by everyone in the community, well, it just makes the dumping that much quicker and that much easier. Because while you're putting your listings up, moving them into a storage unit and canceling, the people that are panic selling are actually listing and actually sending the item. They want to get rid of the knife as fast as possible. Now, obviously the theory has holes. I think the most glaring one is that it's happening with knives, it seems like, and he showed a lot of screenshots using knives as an example, right? If it was gloves, it would be like kind of a foolproof theory. But the fact that it's knives makes me think like a lot more listings than he's letting on are actually real. So while I don't think it's responsible for the entire dump that went on, right? As I said, if anything, it just would have amplified the negativity and made it happen quicker. But it could definitely be a part of it. So I'm interested to see what else he finds throughout the next couple of days or so. But that's the past now, because this morning, skins are up. And it's the skins that we know and love, and so does China. Now, if you want to buy these skins, here's a word from our sponsor tonight, skins.com. It's a quick word from our sponsor, skins.com. Skins.com is the newest sponsor on our channel. They have just released a P2P trading platform looking to compete with the best players in the space. If you don't want to wait that long, they do have an insta-sell feature on the site in which the rates are the best I've seen, just straight up. When the market is down, everything is on sale. And with the deals you're getting on skins.com, you could start your position basically up 20 to 25%. Try out skins.com and be a part of the future of CS2 skin trading. I will have a code soon, so stay tuned for that. And of course, we have a giveaway here for an Ursus knife, Marble Fade, in factory new. Go on my Twitter for a little bit more information there. I mean, truly, the market last week was absolutely dead. Every day we were down just a little bit more. The top movers were 5%, 10% max. Here, this week, the top mover in the last 24 hours is up around 70%. Now, obviously, that's easier to do when the prices were low to begin with, but seeing those type of numbers usually, definitely means that China's involved. No knives, no StatTrak guns anywhere in there at all, right? It's those items we know that China loves. Some of their past favorites like the MP7 Vault Heist from the Havoc collection. Even older collections like Rising Sun, the P250 Mint Kimono is the number 2 mover over the last 3 days. The Scout Carbon Fiber, the AK Green Laminate. Skins, we've all talked about these before, right? Not popular skin by any stretch of the imagination, but in the top movers, we know. There's also a couple of case skins in here for the first time I feel like we've seen in a while. Because even before the market downtrend, a lot of the skins that dominated the top movers were typically from cases or lower tier older collection skins. The number 1 mover over the last 24 hours is the Glock 18 Sacrifice. Now we've seen this one, I believe, around a month ago at this point. It's from the CS20 case. This one has been getting attention, but at around $20 in factory new, safe to say we missed this one. The pumps were much easier over the last 24 hours because everything was down and they had a ton of buying power. So if you had one, congrats. You can sell at a pretty decent gain right there. One of our better calls in the history, the Galil Sandstorm, is starting to recover. That's from the Winter Offensive collection. And the CZ Tigris, or Tigris, whatever the fuck it's called, it's from the Breakout case, as well as the 5.7 Foul Play from the Breakout case. Those two are trending up very nicely over the last 24 hours. So, coordinated entry, textbook shit. So if that theory holds true, it worked like a fucking charm because they just entered a bunch of different cases and old collections at a premium discount. And that's coming right before a catalyst too, right? Armory rotation, it's now confirmed, and cash, which is also confirmed. And yet all this dumping and all of this non-Chinese activity has caused people to be relatively panicked or worried about the market. As I said, the market index is at the lowest it's been since late 2024. Prices are ridiculously cheap right now, and if Olaf's theory holds any bit of weight, not even if it's 100% true, if some of it's true, then we're underestimating just how cheap everything is right now. Now, I know it's not fun that you were probably holding shit right before this downtrend that you were expecting to go up or had legs to go up right before the subsequent downtrend that erased a lot of money from the market, to be frank. but pricing is in a ridiculously nice territory. This is a buyer's market for sure. China looks like they're re-entering with full force like they never fucking left. And if you've been watching these videos for a while now, you should. Hopefully, I've given you enough tools and signs so that you can make the plays on your own and find your own plays. It's up to you to define which ones are better than the rest. Now, we obviously have to talk about the Armory a little bit, right? We just got that last chance offer. And again, to that theory, lowering sentiment by faking a crash would definitely help you in times of a prime buying opportunity such as right now. Now, we know that the Armory prices are not exclusive to China. In fact, they're probably the most liquid skins in the game in terms of transaction volume for skins specifically. And they will target some of these Armory skins whether we like it or not. The Glock Green Line, all aboard, bitch. Top mover last 7 days and the last 3 days as well. The pullback was eaten up almost immediately, and it is now higher than it was post discontinuation day of. The rest of the top 10 kind of looks the same. It's just a lot of Train 2025, baby. And hopefully I'll have a video out tomorrow on why Train 2025 is the best candidate to be manipulated in the future. Right, and as we said, there's also a lot of just old collection items. The M4 Red DD Pat, the Glock Ramses Reach from the Anubis collection, the Galil Cerberus, the Tech 9 Toxic from the Cash collection. Right, CS2 posted a new banner photo on their Twitter page, which is strikingly reminiscent to the CSGO Cash T Spawn. And then they also liked my tweet saying it's Cash, so it might be Cash. So if Cash comes out, I cannot see them not adding a Cash 2026 collection. I know Train came out in November and the Train collection wasn't released until March, but I do think Cash definitely carries a little bit more hype than Train does, and it's being packaged pretty much with Anim Graph 2 and like a brand new game essentially. So I think that they'd be foolish not to add a Cash 2026 collection. So I think that old Cash collection is going to get some attention, very briefly, very like speculative, not like, well, yes, the skins are going to go up and trend upwards over time because they're completely gone. They have been completely gone for years at this point. The prices are probably inflated right now until Cash comes out. So if you have some, I would definitely sell if Cash actually comes out that day. But I probably wouldn't buy into this right now. If you have one, cool. If you don't worry about it. There's plenty of other plays. Literally every other gun you could buy right now would probably be a better buy. And that brings us to our watch list. I mean, the watch list is pretty broad. I kind of just want to say everything, right? We're at 10 days of downtrend, 2 days of uptrend in the last 12 days. Sentiment is at an all-time low, whether that's artificial by way of that theory or whether it's actual organic negative sentiment. Doesn't really fucking matter at the end of the day. Negative sentiment is negative sentiment, and it's made prices go downwards. Old collections are cheap. Case skins are cheap. So in a way, it's like a blank slate, right? Prices are back down to where they were before. Obviously, where the value is kind of different compared to where it was in 2024, but it's the same amount of money. So putting some money, allocating money in different places. So China's next plays, they kind of don't have any connections to what they were doing before this downtrend. A lot of their money is in their pockets right now, ready to be being spent, right? Once that Armory rotation happens and all the players that want the new shiny skins go and sell their cases and shit, prices go downwards there. And the Chinese have all of the opportunity, while all the attention is this way, to go this way. And it could be one of the last times we see a cycle like this, because as we spoke about in a couple of videos ago, in which I spoke about the Chinese tax code law and how it kind of differs from the US, and how C5 Game, one of their premier marketplaces, is starting to implement tax law. By the way, Buff and UPin are not subject to this legislation yet, but I think if it happens in C5 Game and they see what kind of transaction volume's happening on this game on a daily basis, they will probably try to pursue Buff and UPin. I do think that Chinese pumps won't go away, but it'll be a very different landscape than what it is and what it has been over the last year or so, right? Taxable events in China are just sales, not necessarily realized profit. So I think you're going to see a lot of long-term, high-conviction plays, not the stuff, the random, well-worn bullshit we see a lot of the time, but factory new, coverts, old collections, low supplies, the shit we've always spoke about. But in spite of that, China seems to be back up to this morning. So I'm interested to see where they go and what they do over the next week, how much they actually move into these collections before the Armory rotation happens. Because in all likelihood, the lowest prices they'll see are going to be when everyone takes their money, sells their shit, and buys all the new Armory stuff. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see there. Other than that,